So I must tell you this incredible story. I don't know, like, I know you said you've just finished work, so I don't want to keep you and then you've got to, like, drive or run. I feel like you're a runner, dude. Why do you run so much, Hypo? So, I mean, I can condense the story. No, I'm here. Okay, you're free. Okay, cool. So I went to this convention, right? London Anime Con. That was so it was a convention, anime and gaming. So I'd applied to attend the event as media because I'd been targeted by Facebook about this event. So I was like, you know what? Heck, I've attended a few events in South Africa as media, so I know how to fill in the application and I kind of know what to say. So I'm gonna do that and see what happens. If it happens, it'll be really cool because that's kind of why I moved to England, was to further myself in my gaming career. That was like the initial intention and still is the plan. So I applied and they came back to me a couple of weeks later and they were like, you've been approved. So I was like, oh, that's so ill. That's really sick, because now that's my first opportunity to go to a convention as myself, as Theed, and be there and do this whole media representation thing. So that was 2 weeks ago and it was really rad. It was really good. Like I walked around on the, so it was a Saturday and Sunday thing in London. It was my first time in London since arriving here in November last year, obviously because of COVID and whatnot. So I went off to this convention. On the Saturday I made a friend. I made one friend. His name is Overlord, and he was actually here a little bit earlier. So I followed him on Twitter and on Twitch, and I was like, done. My Saturday I wanted to make a friend. And I made a friend. I was like, just want to, like, somebody, I just want to be, because I was there by myself, you know, which is actually a really nice way to attend conventions, because then you can do whatever you want to do. And the problem with going to a convention with other people is that you end up leaving early and missing out on so much good stuff. So, so I made a friend on the Saturday, which was really cool. And we hung out. He was playing Rocket League. I was watching him play Rocket League. So, I mean, obviously, best friends immediately. And so that was the Saturday, and I went out, had a couple of drinks with my uncle and his friends, and then I went back on the Sunday, dude. I fucking hope you're sitting down for this, Hypo. And Faris, you also, dude. So I went there on the Sunday as well, and I got there early this time because I was like, you know what, I want to get some pictures when there aren't people around, because those are the best pictures. Because sure, it's good to see people, but they're always in the way of everything. And also, by the time I'd got there on the Saturday, a lot of the merch had been sold already, so the stands were looking a bit empty, whereas I knew on the Sunday I'd get some really nice pictures if I got in there early, so I did. And I got some really nice pictures as well. And so I was walking around their event, and I was looking at the card as to what was on the schedule for the day. So I was like, okay, cool. This. I saw there's this tournament, saw there's this happening. So I was like, cool, go do this, go do that, go do that. Then I saw on there that there's a Twitch streamer chat, tips for new streamers. So I was like, this is going to be really interesting, because, like, sure, I've been streaming for a while, but it's always nice to hear somebody's perspective. And obviously, if they're on this kind of platform, they might be able to tell me a thing or two, you know? So I went and I sat there, and I was watching the chick who was on before this person was supposed to come. So because I got a good seat, I was like, I want to sit in front and listen to what this person has to say. And Shane, this poor girl was really sweet, but she was very awkward. And she kept asking everyone, any questions? And she said, usually I have my partner here. So she was there by herself, like doing this chat. And she was talking about, like, dressing up as a cosplayer, and people were asking her questions because she kept asking it. So I was like, I was even thinking, like, in the back of my head, what can I ask her? Because this poor girl's standing here. She keeps asking for questions. And I'm looking at the time. I'm like, this is weird. The person was supposed to be on like 10 minutes ago. So she held the fort for as long as she could. And eventually she was just like, I'm done. So she walks off. So I wait another 5-10 minutes. And like, nothing's happening. So I'm like, this is so strange. I wonder what's going on. Then over here, the conversation between the two people sitting there, like, they can't get hold of this person, blah, blah. So I was like, this is fucking weird. This is my opportunity. Let me go up and ask them if they want me to do it. So I picked up my bag. I walked over to the desk and I was like, "Hey man, I know you don't know who I am, but I'm a streamer. So if you're looking for somebody to host this panel, like I can do it." And he was like, "Dude, I'm trying to get hold of anybody in this fucking place who's a streamer who can do this." It was like a doctor moment, Hypo. It was like a doctor moment, dude. He's like, "I'm trying to find a streamer somewhere in this convention to fucking host this panel. I can't find anybody who streams." And I was like, "Bro, I stream, dude." I will fucking get emotional because it's so epic. So I was like, "I can do it if you want me to." He's like, "Okay, okay, sure, dude. Here's the microphone. Good luck, dude." And I stood in front of a fucking crowded room of people for half an hour talking about streaming and all the tips and fucking dude. I was like, I don't even know who that person was, dude. I did like I've never been like that assertive where I'm like, I'm gonna go and do this now. And it was the weirdest sensation because I just stood up, I fucking walked over to the desk, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, dude? I'm a streamer. If you want me to fucking host this panel, I can." And he was so desperate. He was like, "Okay, off you go, dude." People clapped at the end, bro. People were clapping there. I opened for questions twice. Right at the beginning, I was like, "Does anyone have any questions?" Because look, I can talk for an extended period of time about shit for a long time. So I'm gonna ask you questions now, and then at the end, I was like, "Okay, cool. Does anybody have any questions?" One chick put up her hand, and she was like, "How can you, the climate during COVID? There's so many people who are streaming. How can you like be unique?" And I was like, "No, no. How can you be different from everybody else?" And I gave such a fucking great cliche answer, and I was like, "You know what? I know this is gonna sound super cliche, but the only person in this world who has had the experiences, the life experiences that you have had, is yourself. So if you can be uniquely you on stream, there is nobody else who can replicate what you can do. The stories you can tell, the things you went through yesterday, the things you went through high school. Like, it was so good, dude." And then she was smiling, and then she was invested for the rest of what I said. And then right at the end, I was like, "How much time do I have left?" The guy was like, "You got 5 minutes." And then the next thing was going to be, I'd already gone overtime, but I was like waiting for the next person to arrive. So I asked, and then this guy puts up his hand and he says to me, "Hey man, I've got a question." And he says, so I was like, "Yeah, yeah, what's up, dude?" He's like, "So when's the next act on?" So I put my hand over the mic and I was like, "Hey man, I'm so sorry, dude. I think they're gonna be on shortly. I'm just trying to cover waiting for them." So then he shouts, "We can't hear you. You need to talk into the microphone." So I fucking grab the microphone and I'm looking him in his fucking eyes. I'm looking in his fucking eyes, dude. And I was like, "Hey, my dude. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm busy telling people about fucking tips on being a streamer. All right." So he's like, "Okay, what are your tips?" I was like, "Dude, how long have you been sitting there for? Because if you've been sitting there for the last half an hour," he said, "I've been sitting here for an hour." I was like, "If you've been sitting here for half an hour, you would have heard exactly what I've said. You would have heard all the tips that I've given. But if you are genuinely interested in anything that I've just said, I'm going to be standing right over there, my dude, and you can come ask me anything and I'll answer every single question you have. I feel like you're trolling, but it's cool. If you want to chat to me, this is actually the end. I've got to go." Dude, fucking, I handled him like such an absolute pro, dude. Okay, put the fucking it was a microphone drop moment. If I could have, I would have. Okay, I'm gonna put the microphone down. I walk over to the desk. You should have seen the fucking smile on this dude's face. Okay, after I just hosted this panel, because obviously he was so desperate. He had no answers for anybody. Some random dude from the crowd stands up, fucking bangs out the best panel he's ever heard in his entire life about streaming and tips for fucking new people. And he's just smiling from ear to ear. He's like, "Dude, thank you for standing up." And I was like, "No worries." He picked up my bag and I fucking walked off into the crowd. It was insane. It was insane. Like, I genuinely can't fathom in any like virtual world, I don't know. I would never do that. I would never ever do that. But on this day, I was like, let me just go do this. And like, I've not really spoken in front of people, but I mean, obviously I do this. So all I did was when I was standing in front of the people, like, I just kind of blurred them out and I just spoke into the microphone and I made eye contact every now and again, making jokes. And as I do, and this is what I do, this is what like I'm good at. And it was so incredible to do in front of like a bunch of people. And the way that I handled the troll in the crowd, dude, it was just so good. It was so invigorating. I was like, you know what? I feel like you're trolling, my dude. But it's cool. I fucking handle trolls all the time. I didn't swear, obviously, but I'm just hyped and sharing. I haven't really shared the story. As enthusiastic as I can do with you guys, because obviously you understand. So it was such an incredible moment. I just walked off and I went outside and I sent Wobbly Toe a voice note. What's up, dude? I just feel like I really want to tell somebody. The person who was supposed to host the Twitch tips thing didn't pitch. And I was just sitting there thinking, I'd like to hear some tips, you know? And then my mind said to me, why don't you do it? And I did. I just asked the guys there, do you want me to talk about streaming? And they were like, okay. And then I just spent the last half an hour talking about streaming in front of a crowd of people. Really well as well. Fucking invigorating as shit. I would have liked to plan a bit more, but I didn't really need to. So I'm fucking buzzing right now, man. Holy. Because I was shaking. I still can't believe I did that. I genuinely, like, I want to tweet about it every single day, because every time I think about it, I get this huge fucking smile on my face, and I'm like, I can't believe I can't believe I went and did that. It's crazy. And then they follow me on Twitter and they want me back. They're like, if you ever want to do it again, position's yours, baby. And I was like, no way, this is crazy. So yeah, it was pretty fucking, it was the good shit, dude. It was really, yeah, it's probably like, I've done some cool shit with streaming, but it was just, I did it for me. I went and I stood up and I was like, I genuinely thought to myself, this is my moment. And I went up there and I gave the best unprepared speech. If any of my teachers, any of my friends, anybody who knew me was there in the crowd, they would have been so fucking proud, dude. They would have been so proud. I'm so proud of myself, which is like, that is the most important thing. That I just went in there and fucking did that. It was so crazy. Dude, absolutely. It's an absolute pleasure, Hypo. Fuck, man, it was wild. It was the wildest thing ever. So yeah, it was a pretty good convention. Let's put it that way. Me there with my fucking feet shoes. Let's go, dude. So it was really good, and like everything I wanted to accomplish that weekend, in terms of putting myself out there, fuck me, dude. I broke through the roof. I broke through the roof. Like, never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine that that's some shit that I would do. Ever. You'd, again, like I said, put me in that situation 9 out of 10 times. I'm just sitting in the crowd. The person doesn't appear and I carry on with the convention. But this time I was like, there's some people here who might be sitting here who want to hear some shit about streaming. And like, obviously I've given loads of people advice. Like, I've made so many mistakes as a streamer. So, dude, man, it was so good. It was so good. So I don't know if there's any more conferences coming up, but you stirred the pot there a little, and I felt like sharing with you guys. So yeah, it's fucking cool, man. It's super cool. So I'm very proud of myself. And it gave me a real nice burst of energy, because I was feeling really down about where I was at with the streaming and kind of disappointed with myself. So for me to have done that, I was like, that's passion. That is the good shit. That shit you can't just I don't know. You can't get rid of it. It's like, they always joke when someone in South Africa does something funny. It's like, you can't take the bush out of Africa or something like that. But it was like, I am a streamer. And it was just so fucking incredible that I could stand in front of a bunch of people that have no idea who I am, or any inclination, perhaps, to listen to what I was saying. But by the time I left, the whole room was full with people. Like, all the seats were full. And, like I said, they followed me. And one of the guys from the tabletop section, he said, "Hey, Tim, I heard your panel and you were incredible. Well done." So, yeah, I definitely went out there and put a young Theed mark on the convention. So I'm fucking, yeah. As you can hear, a little bit excited about what happened. What's going on? Yeah, it was really cool. So I don't know. They do have some other conventions in other areas. So I might have a look at trying to attend some of those. But then I fell ill with COVID, and I was like, let me just focus on getting better before I make any other sort of plans. So now that I'm better, tested negative, back to work on Monday, things are going to be becoming normal again, and I can start plotting again. So we'll see. But it's quite crazy because I don't know. Like, I remember quite a lot of what I said, but zero planning. There was literally nothing. I just stood up there and spoke. So good, dude. So good. Yeah, me too. I've been looking forward to sharing the story. So yeah, that was a good time. It was a real good time. And like, the coolest thing is that no one can take that away from me. And there's probably people in that crowd who actually learned stuff about streaming that day, because of all the things that I spoke about. Because also, I think it's always interesting when you're listening to someone speak about their passion, because they are so interested talking about what they're talking about that you become interested, because you're like, this sounds fucking interesting. And yeah, it was so good, so super good. So we'll see what happens. The future is bright. So if I can get into some other conventions and get a name for myself among the media people, that'll be sick. For now, I did so much more than like, literally Saturday's goal was to make a friend. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Okay, back to the emotional roller coaster. That is Lost Ember.